Leave you laid out on the floor, try to duck and roll, hit and miss, now you counting stars. Should've practiced more, should've hit the mask, get out there more. Man, that you're the best. You gotta show me, son. Actions over words, baby boy. Is you real or what? Talking way too much, world come. Back sports, talking way too much, world come. Back sports, talking way too much, world come. Back sports,
Yo, big shout out to the hottest chat in the MFing game. A-Side official. No negotiations needed, period. You already know it's fight week. And we back with another one. We finally here, y'all. September 8th, we on deck. It's Monday. And if you don't know, it's the 9th, the 10th, 11th, and 12th. We get the weigh-in. We finally get the weigh-in of the most epic super middleweight clash, mega fight, historical clash of the Titans between two pound for pound elite boxers of this era. Terrence Bud Crawford versus Canelo Alvarez. Yes, yes, yes. It's been so much talk, tickety talk. But that talk is almost over right now. No more ducking, no more dodging, no more running. It's on and popping. Big Blunts and boxing on deck. What's good, Blunts? What's good with you, big dog? Hold on for a second. Yeah, I'm back. I know it's been a minute, but you know I was gonna show up to Monday to jumpstart the week. You know what I'm saying? It had to happen. But check this out though. I believe this week is gonna go by pretty quick, and we're gonna get down to it. I don't think it's gonna, you know, I don't think the energy in Vegas is anything like they say the foot traffic is right now. You know how they trying to say Vegas seemed like a ghost town? No, from what I'm hearing, you know, Vegas pretty active right now in that particular area. And I think the fight, you know, the lead up to the fight this week is going to be very, very active. But shout out to the ones who support the channel. Those who still drop in, you know, good to see Blunts on deck. Anyone else that's en route, appreciate y'all for support. I'm kind of getting over a little bit being under the weather, whatever. But the fact still remains, I got a couple of topics to go over. I want us to discuss some specifics, things that make sense to this fight that's coming up. Real talk, things that's really going to play a significant, I mean, it's imperative that we understand how important this is when it comes to the scorecards. Now, I'm going to be honest, I've been on deck, I've been on record and said, I really don't care with the scorecards because I got confidence that Crawford would do enough to go in there and defeat Canelo Alvarez. But it is something that us as a people in this community of social media that report on the sport, that calls ourselves fans of the sport, we need to speak on the possibility of what we know to be true. And that is the hocus pocus of boxing. The third man in the ring and the three that's outside the apron. Not to mention the umbra of the commission and the promotion. They definitely is going to feel some type of way if these scorecards are up there talking about Canelo came out 5-0. So let me first start off by going over this article with you. And it highlights a fight that we all know that was very, very controversial. And so controversial that a specific referee that was judging that fight was only suspended for a small amount of time. And once that little bubble popped, she was able to go right back to carry on her job. Why? Because no one in boxing is really paying attention to these judges who go over here and screw these fighters over, and they have very lenient, minuscule freaking punishment. So when they return to the sport, it's just like showing up to the arena. As fans, we're not looking for the referees. We're not looking for the referees. Let's get down to business. You know what it is. Let's get to our required reading. Let's take this thumbnail down. And there we is right there. The best in the game, boxingscene.com, is bringing up, reminding us, okay? They reminding us, y'all, that back in September 16th, 2017, Canelo's biggest test to date, when he stepped up in weight to face Triple G, who at the time was 37 victories, 0 defeats, one of the most decorated middleweights of this era. That fight ended in a draw. Let's go on this article of Boxing Scene and see what they're talking about. The hidden prejudice in boxing judging. Look at that scorecard right there. Referee Kenny Bayless. All right. This is for the WBA, WBC, IBF, IBO middleweight titles. September 16, 2017. Judges. In the white, Adelina Bird. Blue, Dave Moretti. Pink, Don Trailer. 3 referees. They will always be the puppet masters. From the referee to the judges will always be the puppet masters of boxing. What does that say right there? Draw. We all know that wasn't no draw. And not to mention, you see this 115, 113, Dave Moretti, Don Trailer, 114, 114. Look at Adelina Bird, 118, 110. If you go all the way up, who was that score for? Canelo Alvarez. 118, 110 now. Quite different than the other 2 scorecards. Let's get the reading, please. Judges are supposed to score what happens inside the ropes using the 4 criteria: clean punches, effective aggression, defense, and ring generalship. That's it. Now, hold up now. Clean punches. I did see some clean punches. But what about clean lenses? Adelina Bird wear glasses, right? Did she clean her lenses before she sat down and judged that fight? Oh, you think I'm talking about the ones that's hanging off her head? No, I'm talking about her integrity lenses. I'm talking about the ones that you use when it's time for you to do what's right. Did she clean those lenses off? Who gives a damn about the one that hangs off your head? We're talking about the one that you have to use to make the judgment call. You know how they say good initiative, bad judgment? We're talking about what is your What does your meter say? Where's your meter? The meter that tells you to be to do the good and from the bad. Where's that? Where's your honor and trust? Clean punches, effective aggression. Then you see effective aggression in there. We seen effective aggression from both fighters. But to be honest, I did not see one fighter effective aggression 118 more than the other. Defense. We right here, y'all. Defense. Both fighters landed some solid shots on one another. We know that. That's pretty easy. Pretty easy. But it depends on the referee and what they believe to be solid defense. Solid defense where the punches are landing off the glove. Solid defense where the fighter is actually slipping the punches and being able to return counter shots. Solid defense with a fighter keeping their distance. You know, what's the mindset of these judges? Because all these judges does not have that prerequisite criteria that they go into grading the fight for, in my opinion. Ring generalship. I think ring generalship is a term out of 1/4 out of this criteria that to me, it shouldn't be on here. Because in this day and time, ring generalship can be ridiculed, castigated beyond belief, shredded. Because if a fighter is keeping distance and using lateral movement, that's ring generalship. Still being able to land their combinations at range. Ring generalship. Using the jab, working behind the jab, actively. Ring generalship. But that may not be to the liking of a judge that say, I want them to engage more. I think ring generalship has too many variables to it that you can put on your pros and cons list, you know, to say which ones I want to use today. You get a fighter that fights on the inside. Some judges may not like that. You get a fighter that's using distance and staying active, you know, jab, putting his punch combinations together, you know, pivoting, resetting, you know, have his, you know, they're controlling the rhythm of the fight. Some judges may like that, some may not. We don't know what's in the mind of these judges come Saturday. And we got the usual crew that's on deck. They say they're not supposed to factor in backstory, reputation, or emotions. But the truth is, no one comes into a fight with their mind completely erased. Judges are human, and humans carry baggage. Absolutely, that's a fact. The ghost of knockouts. Suppose a judge know a fighter was knocked out in the last fight. Maybe they saw it on TV, or maybe they were even at ringside that night. That knowledge can sneak into the subconsciousness. Okay, y'all? That knowledge can sneak into the subconsciousness. Don't we use the subconsciousness every time there's a thought process where we say you're overthinking it, underthinking it? You're still using your subconscious to actually derive a thought. It says a guy who's been laid out before can look wobbly the moment he gets touched again, even if it's not much of a punch. That ghost knockout plays tricks on perception. Take Medrick Taylor, after Julio Cesar Chavez Sr. stopped him dramatically in 1990. Every subsequent fight was seen through that lens. Fans and judges alike were primed to see him as vulnerable. Past knockouts shouldn't color the present, but they whisper in your ear anyway. Well, guess what? If we're talking about whispers, let's talk about those individuals that love sitting in the shadows and whispering while they chomping on saltine crackers like the little gerbils that they are. Let's talk about the little whispers. Neither of these two fighters will fall within this category of concern because Canelo, he's been hurt before in his fights. Terrence Crawford has admitted that he's been hurt in a couple of his fights. It comes with the sport of boxing. Isn't that what they tell you? That comes with the sport. You're talking about fighters who's fighting on the elite level, but when they get hit fighting elite competition, then they act like it's a problem. Have you ever heard such in this era how they say fighters are trash? They'll call a fighter trash just because he got touched up. But yet you're saying, hey, they should fight elite competition. They step in with that same status. They contend against that status level of competition and get touched up. And all these fight fans want to do is, hey, so-and-so got hit. When? You know, when Shakur got hit by William Cepeda in the third round. What happened about the other 11, though? You know, Devin Haney in the 10th round, he got hit by Jorge Lenore. What happened with the other 11? That's all I want to know. What happened? Yeah, he did good from rounds 1 all the way up to 9. You know, he did well from rounds 1 up to 9, but Jorge caught him. But isn't Jorge considered to be elite? You feel me? When it comes down to this request from the fight fans, if a fighter goes in here, one of these two fighters goes in here this Saturday and get touched up, that goes for Bud, that goes for Canelo. That's what we expect to happen. All right? Hey, shout out to Haynes Legacy, man. My guy Haynes in the building. Always prayers and blessings for my guy Haynes Legacy with the $5. With the 5 piece in the in the Cash App. I appreciate you, big dog. Always supporting. Much appreciated, bro. And God bless you and the fam. Y'all continue to keep your prayers up for Haynes Legacy and Toby Bartlett, man. And anybody else who may have some things going on in life. It goes on to say they absolutely shouldn't. Judges are required to elevate what's in front of them in that moment. Nothing more, nothing less. Okay? Now, when they talk about judges are required to elevate what's in front of them, you know how they said that when it comes down to a judge may have potentially seen a fighter get hurt their last fight. So they go in here with that smudge on their lens. You know what I'm saying? For those of you that understand what I'm talking about, that preconceived bias that has nothing to do with September 13th. Okay? I'm just using a scenario bubble, right? They shouldn't have that smudge on their lens of a fighter that's heading to a next fight. But as human beings, it's in our natural. It's natural for us to allow good to bow before evil. It's very natural for us to have bias. Why? Because God blessed us with a lot, but he didn't bless us with certain superpowers to read other human beings' minds and hold them accountable on the spot. Could you imagine being able to read the person's mind? If you was right, you're able to punish them right there in the spot for speaking or wishing malicious intent, trying to traduce evil upon you. And could you imagine what that would be? Would it be better or worse? But anyway, for the judges, you have judges up here that's been in charge of several freaking dozen of fights, judging them. And you may say to yourself, like we look up on BoxRec, if they don't graded this many fights, believe me when I tell you, these judges get desensitized to going up there, sitting in that one spot and watching these fights and watching these fights and watching these fights. And you know how they was talking about these criterias up here? That become nothing. The criteria they was talking about, that becomes nothing. clean punches, effective aggression, defense, and ring generalship. That becomes nothing because they become desensitized to looking at certain fighters. They may already know what fighters is the A side. That's who's going to win. They may have seen a fighter get hurt in the last fight, and that bias may still be adhesive to their thought process going into this fight. It may still be stuck on their thought process. You know what I'm saying? Records that tell the stories. Records that tell the stories. Let's talk about this. A fighter with a losing records enters the ring, and the story can seem pre-written. The journeyman with the ledger of 8, 17, 17 and 55, or 2 and 27 steps in against a 14 and 0 prospect. And when the underdog lands, it doesn't always land on the scorecard the same way. His punches may be just as clean, but reputation carries invisible weight. That's facts. Yeah, it carries that residue, y'all. That's facts. Very, very smooth. The assumption is that the B-sider was brought in to lose, and everyone knows it. But sometimes the B-side fighter forgets to read the script. See, the B-side fighter doesn't forget to read the script. It's the fact that they understand if they're coming in as the B-side, their fight has been paid for. Now, every fighter that comes in on the B-side isn't given the conversation. Hey, you know, you're the B-side, right? Okay. There's certain results we're looking for. You know what I'm saying? You know what comes before B, right? A. Okay. Your opponent is the A side. So the way the result's supposed to go, A side is supposed to be the B side. Now, I don't know how you're going to be beat, but the A side is supposed to be the B side. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. I can't go into detail about it. If they don't tell the B side to take a dive and just let them know, hey, you're the B side. We're expecting you to come out on the losing end of this fight. If they're not important and they're just depending on the A side to get the job done, sometimes it doesn't work like that. I've seen it myself, man. I've interviewed fighters that's the A side. Man, they came down the ring walk, dancing with their people. It ain't nothing like a regional card. You know what I'm saying? At some gymnasium shit. Boy, them motherfuckers be lit. Them people be lit for their hometown. And I done seen dudes get into that dang ring. And boy, that A side got Molly whopped. I mean, they had the better uniform, but they was in there with a rough, grimy, no respect getting. Hey, he done lost so many fights. He done got tough with it. Hey, I'm serious, man. He done lost so many fights. He done got tough with it, man. I done seen dudes go in there and really give a boxing lesson to an A side, just straight off their toughness and the little slickness, the little slickness that they picked up, how to be more sly with it, how to work on their defense. Maybe they got to a point where I'm not going to be anything special because I'm not dedicated to the gym, but they keep on losing, and with every loss they find new shit I can work on. And so they see this, right? This dude's manager, the A-side manager, they pick him up and be like, hey, let's pick this guy right here. And they end up being a little bit too much for him. It says the assumption is that the B-side was brought in to lose, and everyone knows it, but sometimes the B-side fighter forgets to read the script. On smaller card, mismatches happen more often. Fans rarely see the scramble promoters make when fighters don't make weight, fail physicals, or simply don't show up. Finding late replacements isn't easy, but plenty of fighters with bad records are willing to step in. That's a fact. Plenty of fighters with bad records are willing to step in. You know why? Because their room and board, their flights, travel, whatever, is all paid for. Their meals, all paid for. They say judges know this. They see it all the time. But every fighter deserves an impartial evaluation. And sometimes the opponent has a night way above what was expected. Judges must stay alert too. Now, this is where I want to slide a bookmark in here, right? Because they see it all the time. That's what I said about being desensitized. When you get to a point where your job is to go sit, okay? Sit. These judges are sitting. They can't take their ass nowhere while that 3 minutes is on. They can't take their ass nowhere. Now, of course, they may be some 8 rounders, 10 rounders, but they could not go anywhere. They have to sit. After seeing combat, box, match, bout after bout after bout, they start to know a fighter. They start to become familiar with the fighter. You know what I'm saying? They have their X's and O's of a fighter. And like they say, man, their lens come in here smudged sometime. For real. They see this shit all the time. So they can be nonchalant. They already know who the promotion is going for. If that fighter used to be, let's just say a fighter had a down, some downtime in their career, and now they're on the rise, the promoter may have said, hey, so-and-so is on the rise right now. We're sticking behind him. You know what I'm saying? We need this win. It happens all the time. Corner man and star power. The corner matters, much like we like to admit. When the Hall of Fame trainers bark an instruction, says Freddie Roach or Eddie Futch back in the day, it gives the fighter an aura of legitimacy. The other guy, corner man, may be a dedicated local coach who's forgotten more about boxing than most fans even know. But he doesn't have the spotlight, and the spotlight can cast a glow over every punch thrown. And that's where I say what's going to make this fight extremely special in every sense of the dynamic of it being a championship showcase, undisputed showcase, pound for pound showcase, is that the trainers, you have 2 sides of Hall of Fame trainers. We've seen both of these trainers at work. Regardless of the positive test or whatever, Reynoso knows what the heck he's doing. Brian McIntyre knows what he's doing. We've seen Mac give Crawford some impeccable freaking instructions, and we saying to ourselves, God damn. I mean, Crawford still listening to him? As much as he's achieved, Crawford is still listening to Mac like he's the student. Much respect to him. Much respect. Salute to you, big dog. Man, y'all over there working like y'all in rotation, dog. Like y'all have y'all positions already established, man. Like, forget the pecking order. When you run as transparent as that and smooth on the level for which they've been known to do, oh, that's going to be dangerous come this weekend. That's going to be dangerous. I remember a certain trainer said Crawford, he has 4 people to work with over there. And last time I checked, what was the criteria again? What was the criteria? I mean, you only supposed to have 2 people in there? One is going to be in the ring, the other one's the cut man. I mean, you can't, if all 4 of these voices are conducive to the rotation running smoothly, it shouldn't matter to nobody. Because if there's no internal conflict, no bumping of the heads, you know what I'm saying? No obstacles where they're overstepping or stepping on one another's feet. From what I've seen so far and heard, they work like a well-oiled machine. It said, if a thought like, gee, Freddie Roach is in the corner, crosses a judge's mind, they better double down on what they actually see, because corner men don't throw punches. Right? Because, corner men can tell their fighter about their opponent something that's absolutely and utterly untrue. Believe me, if I was in the corner and I knew I can bump my, pump my fighter up by telling them some exaggerated story, but yet give them good advice on what they should do next round, I'm doing it. If I'm tell, hey man, he's out of breath right now. His cardio ain't better than yours, man. Come on now. It's mental. It's mental. His mental ain't stronger than yours, man. The blade ain't sharp as yours, bro. I'm gonna tell him something. Hell yeah. To be a trainer, you don't have to go to the Christian school of boxing academics. It goes on to say trunks, shoes, and presentation. It sounds silly, but it isn't. Flashy trunks, bright shoes, and polished look draw the eye. Boxing is part sport, part theater, and judges don't watch in black and white. Ain't that some facts? Judges don't watch in black and white, but they do watch in the smudge factor. They do watch it with smudge lenses. They do watch in distortion, static. They do watch where the aperture is a little bit different. The ISO is a little bit different. For real. Their shutter speed is a little bit different the way they watch it. Because the crazy part about the lens is all about what they archive. A judge could be looking at a fight and see something that's really scoreable. Like, that's information I want to, right now, this information, I should be, taking copious notes of this fighter's doing this, this, and this. If their entire intent is for one fighter to win, they don't care what the other fighter is doing. That's the way they're going to look at it. They're just going to continue to put down the 10-9, the 10-9 for that fighter that they want to win. It happens all the time, y'all. When one fighter comes in with a custom robe and trunks, 300 shoes, and $400 Japanese gloves, while the other shows up in Walmart shorts, beat up shoes, and a towel for a robe, those images can slip into a judge's consciousness. Judges need to recognize how presentation can bias perception and then ignore it. Listen, if a judge who has already judged, I would say over 20 fights, and let's just say several of those has been at the higher tier, not just regional, they shouldn't be looking at the aesthetics of a uniform, because we see a lot of this on the lower level, the mid-tier level, the regional level. We've seen fighters all the time come in with very unique, well-designed, trunks, jacket, and all that. Real nice. And they go in there and get their ass swiped. The geography factor. Crowd noise is one of the loudest forms of bias. A Mexican fighter in Mexico City, an Irishman on St. Patrick's weekend in New York, or a Brit. Hold on for a second. Or a Brit at the O2 Arena. Every landed shot explodes with approval, and sometimes the crowd roars with nothing really landed. That's a fact. Shout out to those, the Mexicans, the Irishmen, those in New York, whatever, Brits, UK, and all that. I don't know if that really happens over here like that, because we have such a mixed crowd, a mixed crowd of fighters that are willing to support a fighter they barely even know. So it'd be good if I can add my people in there, but it's not about that today. It says geography also comes into play with the fighter's hometown. Brooklyn, Philly, Los Angeles, Detroit, and gyms like Gleason's, Frazier's, Wildcard, and Crunk come to mind. Judges need to put those associations aside and score what's actually happening in the ring. I agree. The mental load of neutrality. The biggest challenge in judging isn't scoring punches. It's resisting invisible forces. You've got to reset every round, every fight. The fighter with the glass jaw deserves a clean slate. The underdog's jab counts the same as the prospect's trunks and trainers. Don't throw punches. The crowd is noise, not evidence. Man, talk your shit, man. That's what I'm talking about. Boxing scene be going off, man. The biggest challenge in judging isn't scoring punches, it's resisting invisible forces. You've got to reset every round, every fight. The fighter with the glass jaw deserves a clean slate. The underdog jab counts the same as the prospects. Trunks and trainers don't throw punches. The crowd is noise, not evidence. Remember that. The crowd is noise, not evidence. We've mentioned several times before when it comes to Canelo, they're going to be there heavy. They're going to be there heavy. They want to see Canelo, Canelo Alvarez do his ring walk. You know, they want to say they was there. The phones are going to be out. They're going to say they was there. Listen to this, y'all. Do you hear how the crowd warms us? The subtle buzz. You know what I'm saying? How you get wrapped up in the humming sound of the crowd. And all you can do is just look around. It seems like everybody in the stand look the same. The lights are flickering back and forth. I mean, Canelo has had some epic walkouts. I'm not going to lie. Even when he fought Billy Joe Sanders, I thought that shit was on point too. Why it matters. When judges don't recognize their bias, fighters pay the price. Careers derail. Titles change hands unjustly. And fans lose trust. In a sport that already struggles for mainstream legitimacy, bad decisions driven by subconscious prejudice are deadly. Boy, they deadly. Why are they deadly? Because I've heard so many people say that Crawford's going to get robbed on the cards. And me, I try to turn the scope just a little bit, just to maintain that clarity, that clear lens clarity on the target precedence. The target precedence is the titles for 3-time Undisputed. I'm not really using all the subconscious, hard drive space that I have in the mid part of my brain. No, I'm just trying to keep my pupil on the target precedence of Terrence Bud Crawford defeating Canelo Alvarez. I'm not trying to overload everything based off what people are saying just because it sounds good for them. If they believe that Crawford's going to lose on the scorecards, then allow them to continue to believe that. Because I look at it like this. If they want Canelo to have an advantage like that, that means they don't have confidence, 100% confidence that Canelo can beat Crawford straight up without any bias from the judges. That means they just want to put another conversational piece out there on the table to make themselves feel a little bit more warm and fuzzy on the inside because they don't have confidence that Canelo can beat Crawford straight up. I heard Jim Lampley talking recently, and shout out to Lampley. Somebody took him off life support and brought him back to life. He's back in here talking. You know what I'm saying? I remember listening to him when he was, commentating Triple G. And goddamn it, Triple G, if he was to twinkle his nose, God, Triple G twinkled his nose. He did it 1, 2, 3, 4 twinkles. That right there trickled down his left and right. His opponent never saw it coming. Oh, man, the twinkle combo of ages. I mean, that's just Jim Lampley, bro. But one thing I heard Jim Lampley say recently, Jim Lampley said that he used to live by Canelo Alvarez and that he used to see Canelo Alvarez doing equine training, 2-hour sessions. And he was saying something like he talked to Canelo. He say, why do you do equine therapy with horses when you got a fight coming up? He said Canelo told him that boxing is upper body. Hold up, shawty, hold up. I know some of y'all you got your goddamn pimp hand up now. You about to raise that right pimp hand over your left shoulder. You know what I'm saying? Hold up before you start slapping them Lampley ghosts. He said that Canelo told him that boxing was upper body. And equine, him working with those big stallions that he got, is lower body. So the reason why he don't get knocked out hurt too often, because he has all that strength in his lower body. But yet he said boxing is upper body. But to work with the horses is lower body. His lower body prevents him from getting hurt, like most fighters, because of him working with the horses. I'm serious. That's what Jim Lampley said, man. It may not be word for word. That's what Jim Lampley said. The bottom line, judging isn't about knowing the 4 scoring criteria. It's about knowing yourself. The ghosts of past knockouts, the sway of records, the glow of star trainers, the flash of trunks, and the roar of crowds, they're all trying to score the fight for you. The job is to shut them out, because in the end, every fighter deserves to be judged for what he does tonight, not for who he was yesterday. The job is to shut them out, because in the end, every fighter deserves to be judged for what he does tonight, not for who he was yesterday. So if we're speaking about these 2 fighters that's fighting this weekend, when we look back what they did yesterday, it's not much criticism. Truth be told, I mean, people love, they try to be Salt Poppy and goddamn put the shit in between their hands and goddamn think they put some extra spice and season on food. But no, let's be honest with ourselves. These fighters right here, and the level for which they've been contending on for quite some time, even though they both don't have an undefeated record, they're on the highest level. Just get it in your head. They're on the highest level, period. Both of these fighters. Now, what I tried to help and what I've been trying to converse with people about, and in a very calm, sang-froid dialogue, is I respect what Crawford is doing more than Canelo heading into this fight. When Canelo initially felt the breeze blow in that Crawford wanted to challenge him, or that people were saying Crawford was going to move up, he was saying he's too small, he get nothing for the fight, right? But for Crawford to keep stumping and marching from division to division, not a fighter that was scared to have the big fights in his hometown, a fighter who's always considered to be small, but yet he continued to put them paws and lit the wick and start knocking heads off. He stayed consistent with knocking heads out through his welterweight division. Very impressive. Very impressive. There was a huge, significant part of the fan base that on the night of July 29th, 2023, not only did Crawford defeat one of Texas' most popular fighters at that time, in Errol Spence Jr., he also gave a thrashing to a non-innocent bystander that was on the sideline to an NBA basketball player. Somebody who he could have later fought if that particular person wouldn't have ran up into the arms of Canelo and said, please, Saul, just hold me. I know you've seen what happened on TV, Saul. He did that in front of my girl. Come on, Saul. That's what I say about it. They keep running their mouth, Canelo. I said, keep running your fucking mouth, and I'm going to slap you when I ain't going to slap Crawford, but, man, I'm just mad. He beat my boy. He beat the brakes off my boy, and he was just disrespecting me in front of my girl. And I ain't going to lie to you, dog. It seemed like my girl was getting turned on by that shit, man. I had to take her ass and beat her ass. Listen, listen. On a serious note, I never seen a fighter disband an entire fan base, yo. Like Crawford did Spencer's fan base. He destroyed, stepped on, desecrated, diminished, devalued Errol Spencer's fan base in one freaking setting. He destroyed 2 fighters from Texas. Look, he didn't even fight Jermell Charlo. And Jermell Charlo ain't been the same since July 29th. Tell me I'm lying. Tell me a mother effing lying. He ain't been the same, shawty. He ain't been the same. And then that fan base he had, they was too scared to come out here leading up to this fight and jump on Canelo's bandwagon and talk that shit. They was too scared. That's what that trauma do to you. I've never seen a fighter. I am on record as saying I'm very happy, and I thank God that I was able to be healthy enough to see Crawford dismantle another pound for pound fighter when they was, pretty much counting him short. They was counting him short, dogging him, refusing to give him credit on anything, to go in there and prove it in extreme fashion. This just wasn't in dominating fashion. Dominating fashion, your opponent ain't goddamn looking like EJ was looking. But how many fighters and fight fans did Terrence Crawford affect inside the ropes? I mean, how many fans could one black man that said he always grew up proving himself, one black man who they attempted to stick a branded 1-4 on his back as if that number was ominous to him like 13. You had these dumb, stupid, ignorant idiots up here trying to say, well, let's brand 14 on them. It's 113, trichodecaphobia. Yeah, we just brand 14 on them. Oh, that's a bad luck number right there. They was up here acting like this man couldn't freaking put on 14 pounds. And this dude is up here looking like God dang Herschel Walker did back in the day, man. This dude is up here looking like Joe Frazier. This man got the nappy look like I'm here to train and hurt somebody. I'm here to sweat. I'm here to goddamn punish some body parts. That mug ain't worried about how his hair look. He got that grimy jungle look. He giving me, the Thriller in Manila. The last time we seen Bud go in there, looking like Joe Frazier, we all seen what happened over there at the T-Mobile Massacre. We seen what happened. We felt that shit. That will always go down in history as one of the most historical ass whoopings ever witnessed by 2 pound for pound fighters that's been on the list as long as they were in the same division, undisputed 12-round championship showcase to determine who's the best in the division. The way Terrence Crawford went over there and dismantled. He dismantled 2 fighters from Texas. He broke up a trainer's gym who didn't watch film before that. But he might watch that shit with goddamn reading glasses now. Now he's walking in there with Canelo Alvarez, man. And we know Canelo Alvarez fan base is different. You'll be a fool not to acknowledge that. But I'm gonna be honest, I don't care about his fan base though. His fan base is not fighting for him. Okay. Just like Crawford's fan base is not fighting for him. Our fan base over here, we had the most enjoyable moment with the Spence triumph in the last 10 years, man. I mean, some of us is still trying to knock the weight off from that goddamn fish fry, liquor, and everything else we was consuming in celebration. Yes, you know, all that damn bets that was paid. You know, I mean, we still pretty high off that shit. I ain't gonna lie. Unlike some of the Errol Spence fans, they high off the wrong shit because they had to medicate themselves. They came out them bunkers and people still talking about the fight. They had to go back in there. Man, go ahead, pass that needle, man. Pass that needle to me, dog. I heard them talking, man. I thought that shit was over, dog. It's been over a year. They still talking about that shit. That bitch ass nigga WCS is still out there talking about it. Give me the needle, dog. Give me the needle. Where the rubber band at, man? Tighten my shit up, dog. put that band on me, dog. Hey, them mugs still won't come up from the bunker and stay up this mug. But Canelo, man, I'm pretty sure they wanted to come out and they wanted to jump over to the bandwagon. They just didn't have enough confidence to. But I like what I see with Crawford putting on the weight, the way he has. I mean, this man's still holding a 6-pack easy with the weight gain. Easy. And I know muscles don't win fight. But it's just something about Crawford and his team that they hit all facets of what is to be expected in a fight of this magnitude. In my opinion, it seems like they understand what the curriculum is about and all the contextual content that is needed to study to produce the product to come out victorious September 13th. That's just me. That's just my thought process. I think Bo Mack and Team Crawford is going to come out on top as a team September 13th. As a team. Of course, Crawford, he's going to be the pilot. But I just think when it comes down to Bo Mack's freaking assessments and the way he see things, Red Spike, Esau, you know what I'm saying? Bernie. I just think them as a team. And Crawford still listening to him. I think that's dangerous. I think that's extremely dangerous come this weekend. But the good thing about it is it's finally here. You know, and see this right here, Canelo versus Bud. I was gonna flip it upside down. I decided not to be petty. My mind thinks like that. I was gonna flip it upside down. For real. Because every time I look at something, it's always Canelo versus Bud, Canelo versus Bud. People want Bud to be the B-side so bad. They want him to be the B-side so bad, man. The man done put on mad weight the right way to basically negate that 14-pound disparity, yo. You know? This is gonna be epic, y'all. But do y'all think it's going to be anything like this? Do y'all think it's going to be anything like when we witnessed the T-Mobile massacre? Do you believe that Crawford is going to transform Canelo on the inside? Look at that short left hook. Look at that short left hook. Look how that left hook accosted the jawline of Errol Spence Jr. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? That is close. That's inside fighting. Will Canelo be able to withstand? And I know what you're saying. Just like he asked the question, will Canelo be able to stand? Is Crawford going to be? Look, I get it. You're supposed to ask that question, but what I'm saying is, look at that hook, how it landed, and the effect that it had on EJ. When Bomac told him to change that lead jab into a hook, Jesus Christ. He was following instructions. This dude was following instructions, man. Look at that, man. He was in the southpaw stance, and man, he landed the straight left, man. Come on, man. It looked like Crawford put a bamboo stem in his freaking arm. It looked like his reach, his shit is 20 feet. Look at that shit. Have you ever seen a straight left hand laser line a fighter up? Look at Errol Spence's hands is up in the air. Jesus, that's a beautiful shot. That is a beautiful shot, and it wasn't even taken from directly ringside. That's somebody that's up on the media podium. Damn. Look at that right there, y'all. People keep trying their best to ignore the fact that Canelo haven't fought that many southpaws, right? It's not really the fact of it's not really important to me, the southpaws he have faced. It's the fact that Crawford, to me, would be the most dangerous southpaw he ever faced in his career, to be honest. Crawford would be the most dangerous, the most versatile, the most talented, the more skilled, the most dangerous southpaw that he has changed, that he has fought in his career. And you know, we don't care if he went over there and sparred with Ennis from sun up to some mother effing down. Nothing Ennis could have goddamn choreographed for Canelo is going to be Crawford-esque. We all know that. But if you look at this freaking jab right here, you know how they saying smash mouth football? What about smash mouth boxing? Look at that jab, y'all. If you want to talk about a head-on collision, somebody better call Top Dog. Did somebody call Top Dog for this collision? God damn. Spence's hand, both his hands is down. You trying to tell me you didn't see Crawford throwing that jab, Spence? Your hands is damn near 6 inches below that jab, man. Crawford's up here. Look, Crawford's over here jabbing and beating up Errol Spence like he Fundora. Like he's 6'8" in this bitch. Man, I'm just had to let y'all know, man. That's all. I'm not trying to bring up no freaking ill will or nothing. But the results are as they lie, man. We got Crawford coming out victorious this weekend. And no, this is not the last live I'm going to do on this. No, it ain't, man, because I got to continue to remind you all what you need to be aware of. That's all. I done heard everything you said, man. All that. Fault nobody, chinny, snack, not marketable, most hated passes prime, doing it for a paycheck. No power at 168. That's the one thing. Boy, you better not. Hey, I'm gonna tell you like this. Canelo, you Canelo fans, your boy better not get dropped. Because y'all say Crawford been dropped already by Green Machine, right? Okay. With all this no power at 168, boy, that boy better not ever sit in those ropes. Crawford better not ever get to a point of how Canelo's up there sitting in them ropes like he on a zip line and shit in the mountains. Y'all buckled in that Canelo down there? Yeah. Hurry up. He's keep hitting me. Let's go. Get me out of here. No, you ain't going to be able to zip line your ass out that ring, man. Too much muscle. Ego. Stay in his division. All the haters and naysayers always think their voice is heard and they're true, legitimate players in the game. No. Slow feet. Crawford got slow feet. If Crawford got slow feet, what the hell Canelo got? Huh? The brand new limited edition quicksand boxing shoes? What kind of damn feet he got? Cash out. They say this is a cash out fight. But Canelo's the one that's getting his highest payday ever upon something he requested. I'm not saying Crawford isn't. I'm saying Canelo requested 150 for a fighter that's coming 2 divisions below. Don't make sense to me. That's all I'm saying. Don't make sense to me. But to you all, this is the only thing we're looking to see. And hopefully it don't get y'all upset to a point where you don't want to support boxing no more. Okay? I hope you stay motivated and everything else, man. Let me get to this chat right quick. Let me get to the chat. I'm still getting over this, whatever it is. What it do, Hanks? What up, man? Let's see who's over here. Carlos on deck, man. Toby Bartlett on deck. Prayers always, my brother. Hope you're feeling better than yesterday, man. AB on deck. What's good? You know them strays, man. Y'all so easy to predict. We say only thing y'all gonna do this week is come out and make it about race. Shout out to Mr. Gumbo, AK Hot Grease in the building, my brother. What it do, man? I'm going for the black fighter. And what's your point? The news by Shaw News Sauce Experience in the building. What's good? Salute. Shaw News Boxing LLC Motion Talk. UGK drowning them in the sauce. This fight with no jealous fans on. Shout out to Team Tucker official in the building. What it do with you, man? Killing the Instacart, I see. Carlos on deck. What it do, man? I made sure to call out for the 14th because we celebrating after the Mexican massacre. You know what I'm saying, man? We gotta celebrate properly. You know what I'm saying? You know how they have, hey, Carlos, you know how they have communion service on Sunday? Hey, that's what we're gonna do. It's gonna be communion. That's all. We're gonna have communion with the boxing gods. That's all. That's all. They already have us on the list in the idolatry of boxing. You know what I'm saying? We already reached out to the pantheon. We already there. I told them we will be in attendance. Swat Jones on deck. What it do, Swat? What's good with you? I wonder if Canelo gonna wear platform boxing shoes like he did doing that face off. He can't, bro. One thing about boxing, your shit got to be flat, man. You go in there with some shit. Nah, bro. Boy, Crawford will knock his head off. Crawford will knock Canelo's head off, man. That'd be the worst performance. He try to wear that goddamn platform shit if he want to. Sir Singh in the building, man. What's good? It's fight week, man. It's almost that time. Bud about to lock in. We close September 13th. Fireworks. Can't wait. Yes, sir. I think Bud already locked in, man. He trying to really unlock that shit now. I think he been locked in for a long time. And it's fight week. I think, he's about to unlock and show the world how great he is, man. That's the shit he tested positive for, man. His A and B samples came back, testing positive for greatness, man. He about to show the world again. Because they weren't convinced with Spence. Why? Because they say out the damn top of the car he went. I'm just saying. They weren't saying that when he fought DSG, nor Yadina's Ugas. But when Crawford put hands on him, hey, man, he wasn't the same. He wasn't the same. He wasn't the same. Y'all know he wasn't the same. Stop acting like a bunch of lames. You know he wasn't the same. All right, come on, get out of here. We're gonna hit Canelo like he got snack in them gloves. Hey man, it's always good to force feed a snack to people sometimes, especially if you don't like them. Do what you gotta do, man. WJ in the building. What's good, man? For me, Bud don't back away from challenges. He one of them cats who embrace climbing uphill, so to speak. But gonna be a different dude this Saturday. Canelo better be ready. It's showtime. Let's do it. Hey man, I'm worried about Bud being ready. I can care less if Canelo ready or not. You know, he got a champion trainer just like Bud got. You know, it's up to him. All I do is I want him to be clean. I want Canelo to be clean, and I want him to be in shape. Being that now we know per Jim Lampley that Canelo trains his upper body for boxing and his lower body he get from equine therapy, and that helps him from getting knocked out. Oh, I got it. Maybe Crawford should give him one shot to the groin and see if that goddamn light switch still working down there. Shout out to my boy Dion Washington in the building, man. Hey, one thing about Dion, he is always gonna jump out the shadows on your ass and say F Canelo. It don't matter what time of the day, the week. He only gonna say 2 words, man. Shit. Gotcha, bitch. Latch Puma in the building. What it do? What it do? He said, and the new. Yo, man. We looking. We listening. We tuned in, man. For real. The OG Bruce Gas in the building. What's good with it, Bruce? Spence ain't no Canelo. Bud does need to be careful, but I'm confident he'll do it. Look, both fighters need to be careful, but it's just not up to me to basically warn Canelo about something they need to figure out. I'm not warning Bud of shit. You know what I'm saying? I'll talk my shit regardless, but I ain't warning Bud about nothing because I believe he's talented and skillful enough with his boxing IQ and his team to basically have an answer for anything Canelo has. Because in my opinion, we know it. Canelo really never shown us the goddamn the 11 levels of the 11 limbs of full contact boxing or whatever. I mean, ain't nobody seen him out there goddamn with a monk suit on doing a kung fu movie or boxing movie mixed in with all the damn martial arts. No. I see you, Bruce. W says Crawford's jab from the southpaw stance is deadly because he is actually right-handed and he has power in both hands. Stiff jab. Man, when that picture, and you're right about that, man. That picture with him, this picture right here lines up. You know, that's the overlay for what you say. He's really, you know, right-handed. But being that he lined Spence up with a left hand like he did, he almost hit him like it was a jab. You know, it's crazy. They said don't extend over your lead foot. I don't even think he's extended. His chin is not extended over his lead foot, even with the shot that he just hit Spence with right there. I don't know, man. That shit was lethal, bro. That was lethal. OG Golden in the building. What's good with you, man? Hey, man, I'm done counting down, bro. Man, we on fight week. That tells me it's going down. It's going down. I ain't gonna lie. You know, I will, you know, when they get close to the weigh-in and shit. But yeah, it's on and popping. Yep. It's on and popping. Nobody ain't talking about no 14 pounds no more. Nobody's talking about that shit. Let me take that Let me take that. Dang, nobody didn't tell me I had the wrong banner up there the whole time. Hottest chat. Please let me know if I got the wrong banner up there next time. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. You got that banner floating across my whole live stream, and it says 15 days. What that did is goddamn gave Canelo fans a false sense of confidence because they feel they have more time than what it actually is. Damn, it's almost like I'm helping out the enemy. You know what I'm saying? I'm helping out the enemy in this motherfucker, y'all. You know? But if y'all want to support, man, there go my cash out right there. And once again, appreciate everyone who pull up and support all the time. I gotta bounce. Shout out to the hottest chat in the MF game, A-Side Official. Until next time, another place, another time. I'm out.